The Super Mario Galaxy movie is the sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie and serves as an adaptation, if you will, to Mario, namely the game Super Mario Galaxy. In this movie, Bowser Jr. abducts Princess Rosalina. He intends to use her to help destroy the galaxy and rule it with his father as he intends to free him, during which Princess Peach and Toad go on a journey to save Rosalina, while Mario, Luigi, and now Yoshi all team up to basically go after Princess Peach. That is the gist of the story right there. As a lifelong fan of the Mario games and someone who very much enjoyed the Super Mario Brothers movie for what it was, I was very much looking forward to the Super Mario Galaxy movie. Super Mario Galaxy is one of my favorite video games of all time, so I was interested to see how they would adapt the game in a movie. Granted, I thought they would go maybe Super Mario World before Galaxy, but no, they decided to go right for the fences. Starting off with this, the voice cast across the board once again do a very good job. I'll touch on the new characters in a moment, but what I do want to say that this movie does that I appreciate is one thing that I thought really went very well for the Super Mario Brothers movie was the dynamic between Mario and Luigi. I loved their tandem, their chemistry. They felt like brothers. I mean, granted, they are brothers, but they actually felt like they had a really strong brotherly bond. And I said one of the things that maybe hurt the Super Mario Brothers a little bit was the fact that a lot of it was them separate. It's Mario going after Luigi. In this one, they're on the adventure together, they're on the quest together, they're on the journey to save everybody together, and I thought that helped it. Granted, while we get introduced to some new characters in this movie, there are some characters from the last movie that aren't really that involved in this one, if at all. Like, for example, Donkey Kong's not in this movie whatsoever. And that was a bit of a bummer for me right there, because I really loved the rivalry and the banter and that sort of I hate you energy between Donkey Kong and Mario in the first movie. I would have liked to see that again here, and the fact that it's not, that kind of bummed me out. As far as the new characters that are brought in, Yoshi becomes basically the new member of the friend group, and he really is, he's what you expect him to be. He's funny, he's cute, he's silly, kind of mischievous, and Mario and Luigi love him, and he loves them. Impressive voice work, though, by Childish Gambino. I never would have guessed that was him voicing Yoshi. It really sounded like the Yoshi we all know and love. But that being said, is he like a pivotal character in the storyline? No, he's just kind of tagging along on this journey as their pet dinosaur, because that's really all he is. Bowser Jr., though, I feel is the new character in this movie that really has the most to do here, because he is essentially the main antagonist of this movie. And I thought Benny Safdie did a great job as the voice of him, because you do get Bowser Jr.'s storyline a little bit. He wants to prove himself to his father. He has this grand vision, this genius idea in his mind, and he believes that through abducting this princess and freeing his father, he will be worthy, he will have proven himself. And the dynamic between Bowser Jr. and Bowser is great in this movie. It makes for a lot of laughs. You actually did buy the father-son relationship there. But I will say, part of the detriment is, I do feel like in this movie, Bowser felt like more of a side character for a majority of this movie, or at least I would say around the first half of this movie. Then he felt like the main villain. For parts of the movie, he kind of feels like a side character, not even really to Bowser Jr., which he does along the way, but he feels more like a side character to Mario and Luigi, which felt different. I prefer Bowser to be the main villain in a Mario story, and the fact that he's not really here, it was just, it's something I didn't really get used to. Also, Rosalina, who's voiced by Brie Larson, interesting character. She's clearly OP as hell. You can see why Bowser Jr. wants her for his cause. But I will say, because she's the one that's held captive the most in this movie, I didn't see as much of her, and I don't think the movie developed her as much as it should have. They do throw in this little interesting dynamic between her and Peach, which, granted, I don't think in the video games is canon, but it kind of works for the story a little bit, but it works more for Princess Peach than it does for Rosalina. I don't know, maybe they're potentially just setting up Rosalina for future Mario movies and they'll expand more on her story. Possibly. Or maybe they feel like because with the Super Mario Galaxy game, we understand her story, it's Peach's story that needs more understanding. Maybe that's what they were going for, but I've always thought Rosalina was a really cool character. She was probably my favorite princess in the Super Mario game, so I would have liked seeing her get a little more time to shine. Also, and yeah, this is not a spoiler at this point because Nintendo literally announced this like days before the movie premiered. But yeah, Glenn Powell is the voice of Star Fox. Star Fox being in this movie was awesome. A lot of people are comparing him to Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, and I can totally understand why. He's snarky, he's funny, he's a douche, but kind of a likable douche. Like, he's got that cocky vibrato to him, but you like it. It works for him. But I'm gonna be honest, I almost forgot to talk about him in this review. And it's not because the character is forgettable or Glenn Powell didn't do well voicing him. It's just the fact that he doesn't do a whole lot in the movie. It does feel a little bit like, you know, Nintendo is just planting him in there to set up for a Star Fox movie along the way, or maybe whenever we get a Super Smash Brothers movie along the way. Some of this movie does undeniably feel like set up for a cinematic universe that they will inevitably try and make, and probably will make with the amount of money this movie's making, and the last movie made. But you know me, I'm not one for shoehorning characters into a movie. If you're gonna put a character in a movie, I would like them to have a little bit more to do. Getting into everything else, the animation in this movie, it looks fantastic. I mean, I'm not overly familiar with a lot of Illumination's movies, but I think I could say this is the best looking of them, the Mario movies anyway. And I don't think I'd be wrong. The colors really pop, they completely stand out, the worlds look phenomenal. Like, they look how I remember playing the Mario games, and that goes a long way for someone like me who's such a fan. Also, the music. I don't know who does the score for these Mario movies, but they do an awesome job with the music. Because not only do they use the Mario theme for certain moments or certain worlds that completely coincide with what's going on, that, again, give you that nostalgia feeling, but it has a little tweak in there that makes it feel more cinematic. Again, it was like the studio went that extra mile just to make it feel a little bit bigger and more grand scale because it's a movie now, and I appreciate that. And yeah, speaking of nostalgia, yes, this movie is chock full of that. Is the nostalgia the big thing that carries this movie? 100%. Are there more power-ups in this movie? Yes. Are the power-ups cool? Fuck yes. There's a lot of nods to different games, to different levels, to different moments in games. There's one in particular that references the original Mario Brothers game, you know, the whole 2D scroller. There's one moment that very much references that. I'm not gonna lie, I had a grin from ear to ear watching it. And that is where I will give these movies credit. They know who their audience is. They know exactly who they are catering to. So naturally, people like me, even though, you know, the nostalgia maybe doesn't have a lot to do with the story, and it's maybe just that for the sake of trying to advance the plot, it works. I had fun with it. It was great. It brought out that inner kid that's in me. It makes me smile, it makes me remember, and a lot of times, it also made me laugh. The comedy does work very well in this movie. Some of it's a little too silly, but when it was able to land a joke with me, it landed very well. Now, when it comes to the actual story, I did mention earlier that there is a lot going on in terms of, you know, everyone's going after someone, so you gotta focus on a bunch of different plot points. It's not as cut and dry as the first movie is. But that being said, in Mario games, the adventure itself is pretty, you know, self-explanatory. It's pretty easy. You're just trying to get from point A to point B, and that's all you really need. So as a result, the story of this movie, is it simple? Yes. Is it the most fulfilling thing ever? I mean, it's not going to be, but that's not what it's trying to be. Like, are you gonna walk out of this movie feeling like they developed characters from the last movie? Are you gonna feel like you really got attached to new characters in this movie? The answer is no to both. You're gonna walk out feeling like it's the most compelling story arc they could have taken the characters or could have set up with this universe. No. Now granted, the first one didn't really do that either, but what I do think the first one had going for it is it really honed in to that underdog story with Mario. He's this plumber from Brooklyn, he gets sucked into this world, and he needs to learn how to be a hero. That right there is enough of an underdog story to get you interested, or at least to make you feel like there was a level of character development with at least somebody in the movie. In this movie, you don't really feel like anybody has to overcome a whole lot or discover something about themselves. It's strictly an adventure movie. And that's really what it is. You're not along this ride to see the characters grow or develop. You're along this ride to see them take this adventure. And that's just what it comes down to right there. That's either going to be enough for you or it won't be. So all in all, the Super Mario Galaxy movie, it knows exactly who its audience is. The returning characters are fun. The new characters are definitely interesting. Some should have been given more to do in this movie, and there are characters from previous Super Mario movies that should have had something to do, period. It's a very simple story. Not a whole lot really advances the characters as far as a lot of adventure movies might go. There's a lot of nostalgia in this movie. If you're a Mario fan, you are absolutely going to enjoy it. It's going to make you smile. You're going to have a good time with it. The animation's awesome. The music is great. I do appreciate seeing more of where this Mario universe may go in the future. In the end, it's like this. Understand who you are before you go into this movie. If you love Nintendo and you very much enjoyed the Super Mario Bros. Movie, you will probably like the Super Mario Galaxy movie. If, however, Nintendo wasn't really your thing and you didn't like or care for Super Mario Bros. Movie, well, this one's not really going to be up your alley. But as for me, as someone who grew up with Nintendo, grew up with Mario, this was exactly what I needed it to be. I didn't need it to be groundbreaking. I didn't need it to, absolutely blow my mind as far as an animated movie can go. It's just something I wanted to go in and have fun with and be a faithful adaptation to a video game franchise I love very much. And for the most part, it was that. So being the Mario fan that I am, I'm going to give the Super Mario Galaxy movie a 7 out of 10, which makes it one worth going to the movies for.
All right, come on, hurry up, Brian. I don't want to miss the movie trivia slides before the movie.
At matinee price. Yeah, I'm going to throw that little caveat in there at the end. I wouldn't maybe see this one at the prime movie hours. Maybe see it at a time of day where the prices are a little bit cheaper. Yep, it doesn't get the regular size mushroom kind of 7. It gets the little mushroom kind of 7. Those who understand that will get it. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. And as always, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.